It was just a regular Tuesday morning. The train was packed, people rushing to work, eyes glued to their phones, minds already buried in meetings and deadlines. Among them was Emily Carter, a young woman in her mid-20s, juggling 2 part-time jobs while chasing her dream of becoming a writer in the heart of New York City. She barely made it on the 7:32 a.m. downtown train. Her legs ached from last night's restaurant shift, and her laptop bag pulled heavily on her shoulder. But she was used to it. Life hadn't been easy since her mom passed 2 years ago. Her father was never in the picture, and with no siblings or backup, she had learned to survive on resilience and grit. As the train screeched to a stop at the next station, a tall man in his mid-30s stepped in, holding the hand of a sleepy little boy, probably 6 or 7. The child clung to his dad's coat, yawning and rubbing his eyes. The man glanced around. There were no empty seats. Without thinking twice, Emily stood up. "You can have my seat," she said gently, smiling at the boy. The man looked at her, surprised. "Thank you. That's really kind of you." "No worries," she replied with a tired grin. "I've had worse mornings." The boy smiled shyly as he sat down, and the man mouthed a genuine "thank you" again. Emily grabbed the overhead rail and stood near them for the rest of the ride, completely unaware that this tiny gesture was about to change her life forever. The encounter that sparked everything. They got off at the same station. The man approached her just outside the train. "That was really kind of you. Not many people would do that." "I'm Nathan," he said, extending his hand. "And this is Jacob." Emily shook it. "Emily." "It was nothing, really." "Well," he hesitated, "Jacob has a doctor's appointment downtown, and I didn't want him standing." That meant a lot. "No problem, I hope it goes well," she smiled. Nathan looked at her again, this time more intently. "Can I at least buy you a coffee as a thank you?" Emily laughed lightly, hesitant. "I'd love to, but I'm late for job number 2. Nathan didn't press further. He handed her a simple white card. "If you ever change your mind, or need anything, reach out." She took the card and nodded, then rushed away. The card that sat in her drawer. Weeks passed. Emily had almost forgotten about the encounter, until one particularly rough evening. Rent was due. Her second job had just laid her off. And the editor she submitted her latest short story to had rejected it with a cold one-line email. Exhausted, she sank onto her couch and buried her face in her hands. Life felt like it was slipping through her fingers. That's when she remembered the card. She pulled it out from the drawer and looked at it. Nathan James. CEO, JTech Global. Her eyes widened. The logo was everywhere. Tech parks, billboards, startup conventions. JTech was a billion-dollar firm. Was this a joke? Still, desperation nudged her. She sent a short, polite email, thanking him again and asking if he knew of any openings for part-time admin or assistant work. He replied within 10 minutes. "Come in tomorrow. I want to talk." A chance at something more. When Emily walked into JTech's glass office the next morning, she felt out of place in her faded jeans and worn shoes. But Nathan greeted her warmly and led her to his office. "You're talented," he said, pointing to a printed version of her short story. "I read it. Found it on your blog." Her heart nearly stopped. "How did you?" "Your name was on the email. I was curious. You write with depth, Emily. I want to offer you a job, not just admin, something that lets you grow." She stared at him, unsure. "Why me?" He leaned back. "Because you gave up your seat when you didn't have much to give. That told me all I needed to know about your character. And I believe in investing in good people. The journey of transformation." Months turned into a year. Emily flourished. Nathan placed her in the communications department, where her storytelling skills lit up ad campaigns and internal projects. She rose fast, everyone loved her energy, her humility, and her brilliant ideas. But beyond the work, something else grew between her and Nathan. A quiet, respectful bond. He'd occasionally bring Jacob to the office, and the boy would run straight to her, asking if she had any more stories to read. They had dinners. Then late-night talks. Then silence in the car that felt like comfort, not awkwardness. Nathan was reserved about his past. His wife had died during childbirth. He had raised Jacob alone while juggling his company, avoiding the media, and shielding his son from a world that wanted headlines more than healing. But with Emily, he began to open up. The breaking point. Just as everything seemed perfect, life threw another curveball. Nathan's board demanded an aggressive expansion. It meant moving operations overseas, months of travel, nights away from Jacob, and Emily being reassigned if he agreed. The cost of growth was personal peace. "I can't do this without you," Nathan told her one night, pacing the rooftop of his building. "But if I stay, I risk the company. If I go, I risk everything that's real." Emily took his hand. "Then maybe it's time to redefine success." He looked at her, puzzled. "You built an empire. But you've also built a life, a son who adores you, a team who respects you. Maybe success now is balance. Maybe it's staying." That night, Nathan submitted a bold plan to the board, scaling domestically, keeping family at the center, even if profits grew slower. It was risky. But the board surprised him, they voted yes. The life they built. 3 years later, Emily sat in a sunlit room of their shared home, reading the first published copy of her novel. On the cover, "The Seat That Changed Everything," by Emily Carter James. Yes, she married Nathan. Yes, Jacob was calling her mom now. And yes, she still took the train sometimes, to remind herself of where it all began. The story ended not with a grand gesture, but with a quiet truth. Sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness become the biggest turning points of your life. Moral of the story. Never underestimate a moment of kindness. It might not just change someone else's day, it could change your destiny.